Thank you for attending this breakout session. This session is filled with powerful information to help improve your health and empower you. Radio Free 102.3 KJLH. We are you.
Welcome to the Coalition of 100 Black Women, Los Angeles chapter breakout session as we support girls who fly airplanes.
From the Tuskegee Airmen fighting for freedom to Mae Jemison making space discoveries in orbit, Black people have shown that they are more than athletes and entertainers, but that we also are responsible for some of the most epic and dangerous feats that create American history. Hello, I'm Tammy Mack of the Tammy Mack Show from 3 to 7 p.m. every afternoon on 102.3 KJLH. Welcome to our 21st Women's Health Expo, where we cover the greatness of women. In this case, the greatness of women who take flight, not take a flight to Rome or Paris, although they probably could do that too, but who literally take flight and help our young girls to learn to not just fly, to not just be fly, but to pilot. Ooh, this is about to be good, y'all. Please welcome the Coalition of 100 Black Women, Los Angeles. Dr. Linda James is the president of the Los Angeles chapter of the Coalition of 100 Black Women. Hi, Dr. James.
Hello, how are you? Thank you.
Dr. Gwinnett Parker is the first vice president of programs with the organization. Hi, Dr. Parker.
Hi, good afternoon.
President of the Fly Compton Aeronautical Education Foundation, Demetrius Harris. Hi, Demetrius.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Chief Pilot Ronell Norman is here with us. Hi, Ronell.
Good morning, welcome from Flight Deck. Thank you for having us.
I love it, I love it. And also, Carla Norman is with us today. Hi, Carla.
Hello, everyone.
The program director of the Fly Compton Aeronautical Education Foundation, and Erica Collier, who as a parent has seen the advantages of her child, Sydney Briggs, being in this program. Hi, Sydney. Hi, Erica.
Hi, Tammy. How are you? Thank you for having us.
Thank you for being here. I am so excited about this because although I fear flying, I am amazed and always intrigued about how those planes get in the air and how this one little tiny person can totally just totally control this big apparatus in the sky. I oftentimes think when people are complaining about their flights or whatever, in my head, I'm thinking, you're in a seat 35,000 feet above the earth. What you complaining about? Like, it's crazy to me. It's crazy to me. But before we get into all that, I have to talk to the National Coalition of 100 Black Women, Dr. Linda James. Dr. James, what is the National Coalition of 100 Black Women? I would like for women to know about it.
The National Coalition of 100 Black Women is an organization that advocates for Black women and girls in the areas of health, education, economic empowerment, public policy, and scholarship.
And today is one of those days that we will talk about how you do that. Dr. James, share your organization's history.
Yes, so the national history, in the winter of 1970 in New York City, 24 Black women led by the visionary Edna Beach began meeting in their homes to assess the problems and opportunities left behind in the wake of the turbulent 1960s. As a result of their meetings, they formed the Coalition of 100 Black Women. The National Coalition was actually incorporated in October 24th, 1981. It had 14 states represented, including the District of Columbia. Joe Jackson McCabe was the first national president. Today, the National Coalition has thousands of members. Currently, we have 60 chapters in 21 states. The organization is a voice for African American women in the United States, over 20 million of us.
Dr. Parker, how does the National Coalition of 100 Black Women support young women?
Well, we have programs that we have for young women, one of which we're talking about today. We have programs in health, we have programs in as our president said, the major areas, we're workshops that we provide for the community at large. But today we're really focusing upon the piloting program, which is a part of our STEM. We listed as our STEM, not the STEAM. We do have a STEAM program, but these young girls that are in the STEM are also involved in the STEAM program.
And what is the STEM program?
Well, STEM is it really represents science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. So these girls who are involved in the aeronautics program are really involved in all of those academic areas. And when they switch to the STEAM program, they become involved in arts. And we were able to present them with art projects. And also we did have dance, and we were hoping to get back to it. But COVID has kind of put a damper on some of the things that we're able to do at this time.
Yeah. COVID has definitely dampened a lot of our lives today. So we're talking about a program that you have initiated for young women that literally allows them to soar above the crowd. So can you talk about why? Why did you decide to incorporate a program that puts young girls in the pilot seat in a literal way?
It was deja vu for me. When I was 14, which is some time ago, I was able to go to Compton Airport. I was visiting, I'm from Oklahoma. And I happened to be out there. My cousin was offered the program, a flight program, because he had been denied the access to the Boy Scouts of America, not of America, the International Boy Scouts.
Wow.
And so one of the pilots with the, what do they call the what was it? I can't remember now, the Red Tails.
Oh, Red Tail, yes.
One of the pilots of the Red Tails offered him the opportunity to take flying. And at that time, we went out to see him. So I was out there meeting at one time, and I happened to kind of keep looking. I'm like, I've been here before, but I couldn't remember when or how. But I went up to the desk and was told that this was where kids were flying, and then it hit me. This is where I was when I was 14 years old. So I inquired about a program, and the rest is history.
But you yourself, Dr. Parker, have never been a pilot.
Of course not. That avenue was not open to us, but it is to the girls today. And that's why it's so important that we involve them in programs such as this. Not only girls, but the boys too. We have to, say the boys, because we have been denied the access to be pilots.
Yes.
And that
it's what's interesting is the story you tell. What is so interesting to me about how America works when they deal with Black people is you deny us, you deny us, you deny us. And then we end up being stronger and stronger and stronger. It's like Superman, on Earth, you give him kryptonite and he's feeble. But when he goes to Krypton, kryptonite like empowers him. And so every time America denies us, we are empowered more and more. So for your cousin to be denied in one area and then go off and like spark you, this little mustard seed inside of you, to create a whole program for young women. If that's not paying it forward, Dr. Parker, I don't know what paying it forward is. That's all I can say about that. I mean, that is quite a story to share, and the deja vu, your personal deja vu, benefiting all of these young women. So let's get to talking about the Fly Compton Aeronautical Educational Foundation. Let's get to it. Before we get to it, what I really want to do is talk to Sydney. Sydney, I want to talk to you because you are a part of the program. And I really want young women out there to hear your experience first, and then bring it into the pilots and the presidents and the program coordinators of the organization, because I don't think they're going to listen if they don't hear a testimony right now. You understand what I'm saying? So what made you want to get involved in piloting, Sydney? Come on now. First of all, there are not many women who pilot. Secondly, not very many Black women who pilot. And you are a young girl who has aspirations of being a pilot. Tell us why.
Well, I actually I was part of a science program at Charles Drew, and my science teacher, Ms. Kimberly DK, recommended me to get a scholarship from the Coalition of 100 Black Women to actually come to fly Compton and learn how to fly planes. So I was actually, never interested in it, but when I heard about it, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna take this opportunity because I was like, it's not what most people do, It was just a great opportunity, and I'm glad I take it.
So tell us about your experience. First of all, what did you expect when you heard, hey, we got this piloting program we'd like for you to get in? What was your first thought? Was it like, whatever? Or was it like, interesting, I'll go for it, I want to be a pilot?
Well, at first I was like, that seems pretty cool and I want to try it. But I didn't, I thought it was maybe like simulators and stuff. But when I got there, I was like, wow, I'm actually going to be like flying an actual plane. Like, it's amazing.
Girl, you have no idea how cool that is. That's an understatement. That's a cool thing. So what, have you flown yet?
Yes, multiple times.
You have piloted a plane multiple times?
Yes.
And you are how old?
11 years old.
I'm gone. I'm so gone. Oh my Lord. So how far in the air do you get? Okay, this is the groupie in me talking now. Like, how far in the air do you get?
Well, let me think. We go around the kind of like around the neighborhood. There's a neighborhood around Compton Airport. So we go around it. I think we're up there about like 3 minutes, 5 minutes.
No, I mean, how far up are you?
Oh, I really don't know. Maybe, I really don't know.
Well, I guess now it's time for me to divert to the Fly Compton Aeronautical Educational Programmers, our heads here, and figure out how y'all got these people in the sky, these kids in the sky. Mama, you ain't scared? Your daughter all up in the sky flying planes?
No, she has awesome supervision up there. They have A1 pilots. I am not concerned whatsoever. She's in good.
Demetrius, come on, talk to us about this program, please.
I will. So Fly Compton Aeronautical Education Foundation was created November 4th of 2020. And honestly, the reason this was created was kind of a blessing in disguise with COVID. Because when COVID hit, a lot of pilots were furloughed and weren't working. So a lot of Black pilots ended up just coming to hang out at Compton Airport. And so we were just hanging out and talking. And one of the things that we would always discuss is how few African-Americans or minorities there are in the pilot force. And somebody just said, well, why don't we do something about it? And then that's pretty much how the foundation was created. So because of COVID and us being able to just sit around and discuss things about the lack of diversity, that's how we were able to create this organization. And ever since it started, it's been going very, very strong since November 4th.
Of 2020?
Of 2020, correct.
Wow. That is something. I love.
And so the purpose of the reason we started the organization, like I said, was to create more diversity, not just in the pilot force, but also with drone pilots, aircraft mechanics, air traffic control, aircraft engineers. There's so many different opportunities in the aviation field. But there are many reasons why there's a lack of diversity in aviation. Many that are out of our control, but there are some that we can control, and we decided to focus on the ones that we can control. And those three things are exposure, because I'm a perfect example of someone who was exposed to Black pilots, and that's what awakened the drive in me to become one. I got on a flight one day to Cuba, and I saw both of my pilots on that plane were Black. And I had never even seen a Black pilot, let alone to see two on the same plane. So that's what awakened the drive in me to become a pilot. So that is the exposure that we want to tackle. The second part is the resources. And by us having an airport right here in the heart of Compton, we have the resources. We have the runways, we have the planes, we have the gas, we have the pilots. And so we just want to get kids in here to experience these resources. And the third thing, and one of the most important, is the financial barrier. It is very expensive to become a pilot. And we created this foundation to basically eliminate the costs for any Black or brown child that wants to become a pilot.
And how do you eliminate the cost?
Well, we created a foundation, which is about to be 501c3 approved. We're waiting on the approval, but once that is approved, we're able to garner donations and support from a lot of aircraft companies, airline companies, and they really do want to help. So they'll be providing the money and the sponsorship opportunities for us to be able to pay for these children to become pilots.
I'm sure with the, the 2020 protest and Black Lives Matter, and I'm sure that it has definitely had companies really interested, or am I speaking out of turn here?
Oh, no, you're absolutely right. They're actually knocking on our door and giving us.
I was gonna say they coming, they looking for Black people. They're like, any Black people here? We got money. Where the Black people? We got money.
Yes, and one perfect example is United Airlines just came out and initiated a diversity program where they've pledged to create 5,000 new pilots, but they want half of them to be Black or minority pilots. And when they came out with that announcement, they really caught a lot of backlash from non-Black or non-minority people about that, even to the point one of the Fox News panelists said that United Airlines was sacrificing safety to be politically correct. So in some people's minds, because people aren't of the Caucasian, if they're not a Caucasian male, then they're not qualified to be a pilot. And we think that's just ridiculous. Everybody goes through the same training. Everybody has to go through the same certifications to become a pilot. So we do applaud United Airlines for their efforts, but we'd like to see more airlines do the same type of thing.
Well, I fly United, so I'm happy to know that my money's being well spent if it's being spent on Black, if they buy Black in return. But you're right. You make a very interesting point here, Demetrius, because oftentimes when people talk about affirmative action or opportunities being provided to Black people, the assumption is that the Black people that are chosen, if you will, are less than the white people, as if white people are never, beneath mediocre.
Right.
And I think it's ridiculous. I'm with you on that. I think it's ridiculous to think that Black people can't be. Look, we got to work harder. Do you know what that means when you have to work harder? That means you're every day getting better and better and better. Look, I always say the reason why Serena Williams is the best athlete is because her tennis partner is Venus. Right. If you got to play Venus all your life, how can you not be the greatest?
Absolutely. Oh, you're right. Iron sharpens iron. And that's one of the things I love about this organization. It was started by 8 professional pilots and aircraft mechanics. And we all come from the corporate charter world. We have Alaska Airlines, American Airlines, FedEx, UPS. We just have people from all over the aviation spectrum that is providing expertise. So, and then obviously it's competitive within each other as well. We all are always joking with each other about who's the best pilot, or having competitions about, where you land on the runway and things like that. So that keeps us all sharp and make sure that we pass that knowledge on down to the kids as well.
Speaking of the kids, there is another young woman who is a part of this program with the National Coalition of 100 Black Women and the partnership with Fly Compton, and her name is Alicia Arnold. Alicia Arnold is not here physically with us, but we definitely want her to share her story. So take a look at this real quick.
Hello, my name is Alicia Arnold. I'm 17 and a senior in high school. I got into Fly Compton because of Dr. Parker, and I've been in the program for about 4 years. Throughout those years, I've learned a few skills such as communicating, teamwork, and leadership. I've also learned the knowledge necessary to get my private license, such as in-air flight training, weather conditions, and navigation. I expect to get my license before I go to college in August at San Jose State to major in aviation, professional flight, and eventually get my commercial license. I want to thank KJLH for giving me the opportunity to talk about my experiences in the field of aviation, and to donate to the coalition to help other girls like me.
So Demetrius, I have to get back to my original question that I was asking Erica. How high you got these kids in the air?
Well, I'm going to let my chief pilot answer that question.
That's a great question. I'm glad you asked. Typically on the Saturdays that we fly, We'll get up to about 1,000 feet, maybe sometimes 1,500 feet above the ground. The level that Sydney's in right now is really set up to keep her age group involved and excited about aviation. Now, Alicia's group is going to be more advanced. We're starting that in May. We're allotting Alicia's group 2 more hours per month, one-on-one training to at least get them through to their solo. And solo meaning flying aircraft by themselves.
Wow. You just blew my mind when you said that. I lost my question. So Demetrius was talking about how sometimes people assume that because we're Black, we're not as good, or we're not as skilled, I should say. So based on the young women and the young men that you've seen come through your program, how easy is it for them, Ronell, to adapt to this piloting?
Oh, it's very easy because we developed a culture that drives towards the profession. So the way we set up or are setting up our training is airline quality, corporate quality, and that's coming straight from the ground level. Our training curriculum is directly out of Federal Aviation approved curriculum. So we set it up for a 9-month program for the private pilot, the initial private pilot. A 9-month program, that's normally a program that you can get through within 3 months, but because we don't see the youth as often, we have to spread it out throughout the year. But adaptability, I mean, they're sponges at this point in time. It's harder when people are older because they have their own experiences, so they think certain things go certain ways.
Yeah, because you get me in the air and the plane is just wobbling to the left, to the right. Yeah, I'm too old to adapt to anything. Sponge. No, I'm a brick.
That is true, Patty. These kids actually soak it up really easy. You know, I was 40 years old when I entered flight school, so it wasn't quite easy for me. So, but as young children are really able to pick it up very quickly.
So, Ronell, or maybe Carla, you can answer this question since you're the program coordinator, right?
Yes.
So, do these hours, do they apply in real life that the kids are flying?
That's an interesting question because I would also have that question of the pilots because I don't have the experience in aviation. I just got connected to it through us forming this. But yes, those hours are locked into what they've done in the plane and on ground. So they get ground instruction and then they get flight instruction.
And just to piggyback, every hour logged will go throughout their whole career as long as they keep their logbook. Each page, you tally up all your numbers, and then at the end of the page, you sign certifying that these are correct. So it becomes a legal document after you sign it, which can be presented in court. So right now, they're building their whole resume. And
I'm sorry, go ahead, Ronell.
Okay. And that'll help them, with any job career field. It's a resume builder for them across the whole spectrum.
So, Erica, how many hours have you logged so far? Do you remember?
Sydney? Oh,
about 10
hours. I'm sorry, Sydney. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I have. Mommy hasn't logged any hours.
Erica, no, I'm just logging in the drive to take her to the airport.
Right.
You can't even drive, Sydney, and you are flying planes.
Yeah, I think about 10 hours.
So okay, so look, I'm doing my Medea here now. I'm like 10 times 10. So if you're doing 10 hours in about how many months would you say the 10 hours?
Well, I think in total so far I've done 10 hours.
In about a month or how long?
I think it's taken about 4 years for me.
4 years, okay. So 3 years, okay. So basically you'll have like 1,235,099 miles by the time you're 40, which is the age Demetrius started. I'm telling you, this is fantastic. I can't get enough of it. I want all of our KJLH listeners to take a look at more of what Fly Compton does. So take a look at this video.
All right, we're loading the kids up for flight number 1.
And 65, rotate. Wave to our friends, hi. I'm giving a little bit of right rudder as we enter this right turn.
Hi, I'm Brian. I fly private jets for a living. I'm also a film nerd and a skit writer. If you like aviation, comedy, and fun adventures, then follow along with me and my friends in a series that I like to call.
Today is a beautiful, sunny Saturday morning in Southern California. I'm at the Compton Airport right now with Fly Compton Aero Club, and I think today's a great day to take some kids a flying, don't you? Okay, so class is officially over with. I'm now heading to the airplane so I can get my cameras ready to go. I didn't put them up on the mounts just yet because it's really hot and I didn't want the cameras to overheat as soon as I turn them on. So now I'm gonna hop in and get everything connected and push record and let the instructor do his thing. Today I'm gonna give the 360 camera a shot also. See how that turns out. All right, we're loading the kids up for flight number 1. Oh, that's cool, can I see that? I just sent this to Carla last night and she already printed it out and laminated them. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, that looks a lot better without that bar, that long bar on it.
Uh-huh, yeah.
Yeah, our parking brake is set. Our controls, we know left rudder or left aileron up, right, left aileron down, right aileron up, right aileron down, elevator's going up, elevator's going down. We're doing master switch on, beacon is on, mixture is coming full rich, fuel pump is on, check the fuel pressure.
So it took a little bit of troubleshooting, but for some reason there was a high-pitched squealing sound whenever I was trying to record. I hope that it stopped. If you don't hear any audio during the flight, then that means it didn't work. But we'll see how it goes.
Flight instruments, correct and set. Airspeed check, attitude indicator gray over black within 5 degrees of 5 minutes. Altimeter within 75 feet of field elevation. Compass is floating in free of cracks. Vertical speed just below 0 is our baseline. Heading indicator, let's get that to match the compass a little better. And I think the heading indicator now matches the turn coordinator, wings are level, ball is in the center. All right, flight instruments check and set. Taxi, we're going to take up the parking brake. Our lights are coming on. Everybody, we're moving. What's up? I do not work for the airlines, no. I don't, not yet, but you know, we're getting there. So check it out, maybe in the future. I really enjoyed what I'm doing here with you guys and stuff. So anyway, hey, check it out. All right, so we got this windsock that I'm looking at. This windsock is showing that the winds are blowing into that windsock from about this direction, coming from the south, all right? The only problem is we're trying to take off one of these runways, going this way or going this way. So which way do we want to take off from? I'm choosing to take off from 07 because it feels like right now, as we're talking, the winds are coming more so from, they're coming from the straight up south. So I guess we can choose whichever side we want to. How do you rate? All right, you got me loud and clear. You sounded kind of like a 80s Nintendo game. Thank you. Oh, much better. 90s Nintendo. 90s Nintendo. My bad. All right, folks. So we're gonna take off from the 7s. That biplane? I'm giving you guys a legit tour of the airport right now. Okay, cool. So I'm gonna do a run-up. The run-up checklist is pretty much just like what I was saying, just to make sure that our engine is gonna perform how I expect it to when we're flying, because really this is our last chance to tell. Is our airplane good, or is this trash? I don't know. If it's trash, we're not doing this. You feel me? Cool. We're bringing our engine to 2,000 RPM. You guys see that? 2,000 RPMs. I'm gonna check my magnetos. I'll explain what a magneto is later. Left magneto. Drop less than 150, back to boat. Alright, so we are going to have our lights, camera, action. Smoothly apply full power. Cindy, put your hand on this, on the throttle here with me. Airspeed is alive. I get my airspeed, I'm waiting for 65. And 65, rotate. And we're gonna climb out at 80. Wave to our friends, hi. Okay, so I'm looking here at our altitude. We're 400 feet. We have a positive rate of climb. Everything's looking good. I think we're good to turn crosswind. What do you guys say? Clear on the left and clear on the right.
Oh man, it feels good to take that off for a second. So right now I'm just sitting in my car waiting for Alex to take the kids around the pattern, and then we're gonna do a swap. He's gonna take the next group. We have a total of 12 groups today, so it's gonna be pretty busy. We do this every other Saturday for our group of kids, and right now we're at max capacity, so we can't even take on anymore. At least not until we get more airplanes and more instructors. This is very similar to the thing that I got exposed to back in 2003 when I took my first flight, right here at the Aero Squad Flight School, and we're the ones giving the rides for kids now, and eventually starting a flight school here. But that's a goal down the road once we get more stuff. It's hot in here. But more stuff requires more money. And right now the money that we're making from student pilots actually goes towards helping the kids fly for free. At least until they get to their first solo.
More slowly, I'm still trying to keep about 80 knots. That's my target airspeed. I'm just trying to keep my eyes focused on the spot that I like to land at. If I'm feeling like I'm going too fast, I'm descending too fast, I'm gonna give it some power. If I feel like I'm climbing, I'm gonna pull some power. So, this is where Mr. Miller was talking about our flight controls are getting sloppier. This isn't doing as much for us anymore. All right, here we go, that's my aiming point, and we're gonna round it out. Pulling power. Alrighty, and now I get my flaps off. We have our power out. And we're gonna exit the runway. That's fantastic.
Okay, so right now they're doing the hot swap. everybody. So this is the president of Fly Compton Aero Club, my buddy, Demetrius Harris.
Hello, everybody.
So what are we doing today?
Well, today we're at the airport and we have about 30 kids here along with their parents. And twice a month we come to the airport and we give the kids a 45-minute ground school, followed by a trip around the traffic pattern in the airplane. So with about 30 kids, it usually takes us about an hour and a half to 2 hours to get everybody in. But this is something that we do twice a month, and if it wasn't for COVID, it would be every weekend. But this is something that we do, and the kids love it. The parents are very excited about it as well, and we just want to make sure we keep this going and make it grow as big as possible.
Yeah, we want to do it with more kids. We need more airplanes. We need more instructors. So
absolutely,
you know.
So come on out to Fly Compton. We need all the help we can get. We'd love to have you.
Absolutely. Thanks, bro.
Gotcha.
You can see there's a lot going on here. We're not the only ones flying today. So there you have it, everybody. This is what we do. This is how we give back. It's a good feeling and I love it. This is the power of like-minded people getting together with an idea and putting it into action. We saw a vision of providing something to kids that we had ourselves when we started flying. Because I'm sure you all know aviation is very expensive. It ain't cheap, especially when you go on to be a commercial pilot. Sometimes you can pay over $100,000 depending on where you train at. So at least through an opportunity like the one we're providing here, you can at least get your foot in the door, see what it's like to fly, see if it's for you before you make that decision to move forward with it. That's what I did when I came to Tomorrow's Aeronautical Museum and their flight school, Aero Squad. I had a vision of being a pilot, but when I was growing up, I didn't know it was possible. I thought you had to go to the military to become a pilot. Then I found the program and they show me that I can just train right there to get my commercial license. Like, are you kidding me? But that's the thing, it's not common knowledge to know that you can get your commercial pilot license like in your local airport. And programs like this aren't everywhere. So part of our mission is to expose people who weren't exposed to it at first, to let people know that there is an opportunity for you to become a pilot. So anyway, with that out the way, if you want to check us out, check out flycompton.com. Our Instagram is flycompton and our Facebook is flycompton. Find out how you can help us out to help these kids out. Peace. Can't reverse the plane. That's it. That was his comment, y'all. All right.
So what prompted you all, Carla, to join in with the National Coalition of 100 Black Women?
Well, we took over a program that was going on here at the time that had fizzled out. And most of our members were a part of that program. And when we transferred over and decided to, continue it and come together as a group, as Fly Compton, a lot of our members had already met with the National Coalition of 100 Black Women, and they're like, talk to Miss Gwen, talk to Miss Gwen. And so we automatically connected, and we've been inspired by her story, and we just wanted to continue to support our girls and and our boys. So we're working on that as well.
Yeah, her story
with the National Coalition of 100 Black Women.
Yeah. So what is the time frame for becoming a pilot after reaching the age when you can actually become licensed? And I'm not sure which of you could answer that question.
That's a great question. I'm glad you asked. So there are requirements, and the way you worded it, are you saying become a professional pilot, airlines, corporate?
Well, let's say a licensed pilot. Well, let's say, license means professional, right? So a licensed professional, and then I don't know when you can fly for United.
I'll start from the beginning. All right, so at 16 years old, you can solo. At 17 years old, you can obtain your private pilot license. Now, that is not the professional level, that's the recreational level. And at 16, when you do obtain your private pilot license, that's 40 hours that's required. There are certain maneuvers, certain cross-country flight plans you have to do that's within that 40 hours. Next step would be obtaining your instrument rating. Instrument rating allows you to fly through clouds. So it's an extra layer of safety. That's a reference just to the aircraft instruments without outside reference. That's
so like, what would be an example of an aircraft instrument?
Be your airspeed, be your attitude indicator, which shows you the position of the aircraft in reference to the atmosphere or in reference to the ground. Your altimeter or your altitude indicator, which shows you how high you are above the ground.
Okay, you're going way too high over my head right now.
Okay.
It's basically, you're basically able to fly the plane without being able to see anything outside of the plane. You're just using just the instruments on the
Now that I understand.
Yeah. And that's an additional 40 hours. And after that, most people go into their commercial. Now, this is where you can fly for hire, or this is I would call it the pseudo professional level. And that is 250 hours. Okay, so you build time after your instrument and then come up to the commercial. And then after your commercial license, a lot of people go into flight instruction or some other time building field, which there's various time building fields that you can go into. Time building being building up your time in order to be marketable to go to the airlines or corporate. Airline wise, they're looking for 1,500 hours.
You know, that's not as many hours as I expected. Like, you only need 250 hours to fly a commercial aircraft. So that would be like a FedEx plane, right?
No, so that means you have a commercial license, but that doesn't mean you will get hired at FedEx. You need the required regulation is 1,500 hours in order to fly as a co-pilot in a commercial airline.
Understood. So now, how do these hours, how do they, well, we've already talked about, you know, Sydney could start she's already started her hours. She's got 10 hours now. So obviously, you know, by the time she's 16, she's clearly going to have about 250 hours. So how is it that she can parlay this into a job, or can she at all?
Absolutely. And that's another avenue that we've been trying to set up. I call it the exit strategy or job placement. So we're working with airline companies, we're working with charter companies to, after our members build certain amount of flight time that insurance requires or the company requires, then we can train them up so that they can move on. Now, Sydney hours, she's 11 now. So once she turned 15, that's when we start really getting into the advanced side of training. So if she wants to continue, 15 years old, we'll set her up for solo. Once she gets past her solo and she wants to continue, then we'll continue through her private, and we'll continue through her instrument, then we'll continue through her commercial. And then hopefully she would like to fly with us, fly our tours, because we're starting tour service as well, and or flight instruct to build all that flight time up to move on to the next step.
Now, Sydney, this question is premature, but do you see yourself stopping at any point before getting a commercial license?
No, not really. I want to go all the way through it and, you know, finish.
Can you vision, or have you ever visioned yourself sitting in a United Airlines plane as a pilot?
Yes, I have. And I think it's a great opportunity. I want to make it there, honestly. Even though it might not be my full-on career, I do want to do it.
Yeah, that's not a bad thing to have on your resume. I fly planes, but Erica, do you have your savings account prepared to buy her a plane for her 16th birthday?
Auntie Carla's going to do that.
interested in a car. She's trying to John Travolta it. She's trying to fly her own plane. Now that, and look, Sydney, that right there, if you're trying to outdo anybody for their 16th birthday, that is what you outdo them with. A whole plane, girl, a whole plane. So Carla, you know what, before we move on, there's another video that I want everybody to see about Fly Compton. So take a look at this.
Parking brake is set. Our controls, we know left rudder or left aileron up, right left aileron down, right aileron up, right aileron down, elevator's going up, elevator's going down. We're doing master switch on, beacon is on, mixture is coming full rich, fuel pump is on.
The only problem is we're trying to take off one of these runways, going this way or going this way. So which way do we want to take off from? I'm choosing to take off from 07 because it feels like right now, as we're talking, the winds are coming more so they're coming from the straight up south. So I guess we can choose whichever side we want to.
So Carla, why is Fly Compton important to the Black community?
To the Black community, Fly Compton is a way out of the monotony of a 9 to 5. It's a way to come relax and hang out in an area or in a space where you're not being affected by the outskirts of the community. It feels like a haven, a safe haven, just being at the airport alone. Like our Saturdays, for instance, is more like a family event because we have our own family come in and observe. Our members, our students have become family to us. So there's a lot of things that just being in this space and having a community within a community where people can come and learn something new and also be able to feel safe.
So you're not a pilot.
I'm not a pilot, but
she is just as important as any pilot is.
Really, I'm inspired.
Even more important.
I'm inspired, and Erica shared, we have shared stories or conversations about joining this, aviation world. And we're actually working on getting our ground instruction license. So being in this environment is more than just supporting others, but it inspires as well.
You all are inspiring me right now. You're inspiring me right now because I opened up and started off by saying I have a fear of flying. So my fear of flying came after 9/11. And I have to take medication just to get in the air. But I feel like even if I were to go to learn and to be a part of this organization and get my ground license and things like that, now I'm probably not gonna fly it in the sky. But I feel like if I knew more, knowledge is power. You know what I mean? And it may whittle away some of my fears. So what do you say to people, Ronell, who are afraid to fly, Demetrius?
Go ahead. Okay. I'm afraid to fly too, but when I'm flying myself, it's great. So
you didn't help me.
I want to back up a little bit. Carla hit everything on the head, but also what I've been seeing is people who like me coming in to train with us who don't feel judged or don't feel like outsiders when they come in. That's one of the biggest things I've been seeing. But if you're flying, first thing I tell people, I'm afraid to fly too. Let's go do it together.
Yeah. You got me scared more now. The
I
pilot.
just tell everybody, I just tell everybody, you know, my mantra throughout life is just, you know, anything that I'm afraid of, I just go for it head on and just meet it head on. And that's usually how I'm able to get over the fear of it. So whatever you're afraid of, just meet it head on and you'll be over that fear. So Tammy, you're more than welcome to come out here and let us take you up on a flight so we can kill that fear for you.
I think we should conclude this discussion at this time. But Ronell, you said something interesting that people come in and they don't feel judged. They feel like they're in a safe environment where they can learn and grow. And I feel that. Whenever I see a Black man who's a pilot, because I've yet to see I have met one Black woman who was a pilot. But whenever I see a Black pilot on the plane, I'll be like, ooh, I'm safe. I'm good. If he had a bad day, he know how to handle it. Other folks, when they have bad days, they don't know how to handle it. So I feel real confident. So I thank you for creating more Black pilots in this world to secure my safety. And I'm gonna move back to the National Coalition of 100 Black Women. It's wonderful what you've decided to do for our young girls. And I just don't think that we think outside of the box as much. And not that piloting is outside of the box, but it's not the norm for our young girls. And in a world where we're seeing Instagram influencers and we're seeing, you know, hip hop artists and we're seeing athletes, which are all good and great and wonderful things to aspire to, it's great to know that you are introducing our young women to other options, to more options. And even Sydney has said, this is one thing I want to do. So obviously she has other dreams and aspirations, you know, and for this to be a part of that and for her to be fulfilling this at such an early age of 11 is just amazing what you all are doing at the National Coalition of 100 Black Women. Dr. Parker, how does this make you feel?
Well, I feel that we're making a difference in society with our Black girls. Even if they don't become pilots, and that's a reality, but they will have had an experience and exposure that is unique to none other. And they can share their experiences with other young ladies and build their self-esteem, because I think that in many instances, this is where we need to work with our Black girls and our Black boys also, to build their self-esteem, to open other avenues where they can be employed. They don't have to be a pilot, as they said before. There are many other jobs in which they can assume and make a good living. And they can also tell everybody else to support the Coalition of 100 Black Women in their endeavor to put as many girls and eventually, we hope, boys in the Fly Compton program as possible.
Absolutely. Dr. James, can you please give us the website and tell us how we can support the National Coalition of 100 Black Women?
Thank you. We'd like to ask everyone to please make a donation to the Coalition of 100 Black Women Los Angeles chapter to sponsor the young girls for the Fly Compton program and our other programs. And you can go to 100blackwomenla@gmail.com to email us if you have more questions, if you want to get involved, if you want to, on our website, 100blackwomenla.org. And then you can go to the donate button. You can also send a basic check to the Coalition of 100 Black Women Los Angeles chapter, P.O. Box 56337, Los Angeles, California, 90056. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Dr. Parker. Thank you, Dr. James, Erica, Sydney, and my peeps now, Demetrius, Carla, and Ronell. I'm gonna be flying, and I'm with my eyes wide open now. Look at that. But I am taking you up on that offer now. Don't act like you don't know me when I get there. I'm taking you up on the offer.
We're gonna be waiting for you. We're gonna be waiting for you.
So thank you all for what you're doing in this community. And we at KJLH are so happy to acknowledge you and to tell the world about it so that more people can get involved and we can get some financial support going both to Fly Compton and the National Coalition of 100 Black Women. Thank you so much. And y'all have a great day. This has been.
We got one more thing.
Go ahead, say it.
If you ain't flying Compton, you ain't flying at all.
That is. Bye, y'all.
Help us build strong women and support girls who fly airplanes. We are the Coalition of 100 Black Women Los Angeles chapter. To donate, go to 100blackwomenla.org/donate.php.
The Radio Free 102.3 KJLH 21st Annual Women's Health Expo, brought to you virtually by the City of Long Beach and Fresno County Black Infant Health Program.